And there it is, still at the finish line, at the intermediate sprint line, the final one of the afternoon. Fabio Cancellara has a few bike lengths here. Maybe fancies his chances of just clipping off and taking advantage of this situation. Well, that would be a little bit of an ambush that would be unexpected, but Fabian Cancellara has achieved his mission. He has taken the 3 seconds at the final intermediate sprint of the afternoon on this, the second stage of Tour of Switzerland, and those 3 seconds, crucially, just about edging Jürgen Rollens, and as a result he's extended his lead overall now. 2 second advantage over Rollens at the front of general classification. So beautifully presented through to that intermediate sprint by Jasper Stuyven, his team sprinter, and Cancellara finished it off absolutely beautifully. It was a great scrap between the two of them. Very engaging sprint finish and a wonderful hors d'oeuvre to the sprint that's going to happen again in 10 kilometres from now.
No, that was a fantastic sprint, and like I said, hats off to Stuyven. He could have closed the door a little bit in Rollens. He kept it open. Unfortunately for Rollens, he didn't have enough, and looking at that last photograph, it was difficult to tell between the two of them. No reaction from Cancellara, and but it did look as if he took that one for sure. We just wait for confirmation, but it did look as if he's taken that 3 seconds bonus. So like you say, goes to 1 more second in front of Jürgen Rollens.
So job done for Fabian Cancellara, always assuming that Jürgen Rollens doesn't manage to finish in the top 3 in this stage, and of course he needs to be ever mindful of the splits that can occur in the closing moments of the stage in the bunch. So he needs to maintain a watching brief close to the front as Andrew Talansky, Luke Durbridge and the rest of the Cannondale team make their way up through the cars and close this gap to the peloton. Looks like they're going to make it.
Yeah, I think, like we said, once they're in the cars, they're going to make it. You know, the pressure was on for this sprint. As soon as the sprint finished, general easement in the peloton. They'll make themselves, back. They get themselves back to the peloton. But it's been a long, hard chase. Talansky was on the floor. Durbridge was mixed up in it all, but thankfully they're back in the peloton, and Cannondale with that motorbike there just getting in the way, with Cannondale getting their GC man back in contention now.
So Tinkoff take it up on the front of the peloton. They've got the world champion and the man who's taken 11 stage victories in his Tour de Suisse participations throughout his career. That's nestling at the back of that group in the white jersey with those Arc-en-Ciel World Champions stripes. Peter Sagan as the Française de Jeu squad massed towards the front. Perhaps Kevin Retze fancies his chances of getting involved in this one. Fabian Cancellara takes position in the yellow jersey behind the world champion as Team Sky on the left-hand side of the road, right-hand side of picture, trying to get things organised for Danny Van Poppel, courtesy of Christian Knaes on the front of the bunch.
Yeah, so grouped together, now we see Tinkoff taking over for the first time today. They're thinking of the world champion Peter Sagan on good form, as we can see from the recent Tour of California. So Peter Sagan now comes into play. He's been sat in the peloton all day. A lot of people thinking, why is Sagan's team of Tinkoff not riding on the front? Well, they didn't have to. It was a GC battle until just under 12 kilometres ago. Between Lotto Soudal and Trek Segafredo. That's over now. Cancellara has kept the jersey for the day, providing nothing happens in the last few kilometres, but this is the battle now for the sprint victory.
So now Orica Greenedge take position behind Team Sky, so the familiar black and blue colours of Team Sky lined up behind them with the green helmets and the white jerseys. Team Orica Greenedge, the red of Lotto Soudal. They have the black points jersey classification leader Jürgen Rollens. Nestling in position just behind him is Fabian Cancellara, and here we get bird's eye view of Team Orica Greenedge as we look at some comparison data between Cancellara and Peter Sagan. Speed is the centre one, and cadence, and the cadence anything between 95 and 111. Looks like it's just a bit higher for Peter Sagan. Moves around, changes pretty rapidly. Suffice it to say, pedaling pretty rapidly with just 7 kilometres remaining on stage 2 of Tour of Switzerland. Underneath the flyover, Orica Greenedge on the left, Team Sky to their right, the yellow of Tinkoff Saxo just again to their right, and Française de Jeu have a nice position at the moment on the right-hand side of the bunch, the left-hand side of picture. As Team IAM and Giant Alpecin try to get in position as well. Kirienka not pulling too many faces, is he? Steely concentration. And there it is, confirmation of the, it's less about the points and more about the time gained for Fabian Cancellara. Stijn de Valder, who we thought was going out the back on the final climb, managed to hang on at the back of the bunch and then worked his way up. I'm not sure it was de Valder, that was it. Oh, no, it must have been Stuyven, of course.
Stuyven got the third place there, so they've got that right. That's how fast they went through the finish. They were just concentrating in the first two, and you know, it's a kind of blanket across the road between both of them. But hats off to Stuyven. He could have you know, moved over to the right slightly on Rollins. He left the door open. Great sportsmanship, but a great battle between Rollins and Cancellara. And the Swiss champion holds on to that jersey if he can get into the finish with the front of the peloton.
At the moment, that looks very possible indeed. Fabian Cancellara safely in there. Another Swiss rider just picked him out just a second ago was Michael Albacini.
Yeah, again, one of the IAM riders been told by Jules Jensen, get out the way. You know, he's involved with the train of Orica Green Edge. You can just see, and getting in the way, he's not too happy. He glances round again, but this is bike racing. You can, you know, you don't own a part of the road. You can get involved with what you get involved with, but when the stakes are high, you know, finish of a World Tour event, and you know, you want to try and get to the win. Orica Green Edge with Sam Bewley at the front, starting to take control of the peloton.
Well, they're picking it up, and it's Albacini that's at the back of their group, and just one behind him, and there's a Sky Rider in between, is the man that they're really looking after. So the camera is picking out Albacini, and I've no doubt we're going to see him in breakaways between now and the end of the week. The Swiss favourite is an absolute superstar any time the racing hits Swiss soil, but Michael Matthews is their best option today. The man they call Bling. There's a very fine finish on him indeed. 5 kilometres remaining. Tour of Switzerland, stage 2. We're making our way back into the outskirts of the town of Bar. Team Orica Green Edge take it up on the front. Team Sky just behind. Danny Van Poppel is the man they're looking after. Ethics Quickstep in the blue. They're looking behind them to make sure that Gaviria is in position. He's made it back into the bunch. I can confirm that after his crash with 30 kilometres to go. Safely back in there and being set up nicely for a potential sprint finish.
Yeah, it's quite a dicey finish, but the best place to take it on, as most teams would think, with 5 kilometres to go, leading from the front too far to be in the lead. But on this tricky running, it's important, especially if it was wet. Luckily, it's dry. It started in wet earlier on today. We've had a lot of rain on the course, but thankfully, the last few kilometres here into the finishing bar, where we started earlier on, we've done 4 laps of 47.6 kilometres. It's dry, it's safe, but you want to be in the very good position, and that's why we're seeing 2 of the favourite teams of Ethics Quickstep in the dark blue on the right-hand side and the left-hand side with the green helmets. You get Orica Green Edge looking after Michael Matthews. 4 kilometres to go.
Inside 4 kilometres now, Team Orica Green Edge on the front. Ethics Quickstep lining up behind them. They've got Gaviria at the back of their group. Team Sky just behind them. And the Cannondale squad also trying to insinuate themselves into the lead-out pelotons. And Team Orica Green Edge looking in good shape now. They've got, fully 5 riders on the front, so they've got plenty of firepower here and a perfect opportunity to set Michael Matthews up for a victory in the Tour de Suisse. Peter Sagan doesn't have too much in the way of teammates at the moment. Tinkoff, Saxo trying to get themselves organised once more, but Sagan is surfing the wheels nicely. He's picked up Gaviria at the back of the Ethics.
He's the best person at doing that, Declan, and he wants to ride on Gaviria's wheel. His teammates are just getting in the way. What he normally does is his teammates just sit beside him or round about him, try and close any small gaps when they have to, come round them when they have to. But Peter Sagan likes to sprint on his own. He just picks the right trains. He's not got a fast enough train of his own right with the Tinkoff team, so he's just surfing off Gaviria. He's realised that Gaviria is probably going to be the fastest man, and he wants to try and beat him, so he's just following his train.
Well inside 3 kilometres to go. Another little drag just to draw the sting out of the sprinters' legs as Orica Greenedge try to hang on to control of the peloton. Lotto Soudal looking to control it, and riders from Ethics Quickstep are starting to be jettisoned at the moment. Orica Greenedge lose a rider now as Matt Heyman takes it up on the front of the peloton. They're drawn thin by the power of the Paris-Roubaix winner from earlier this year, and Peter Sagan looking in nice position behind Ethics Quickstep. The blue jerseys of Ethics Quickstep, in front of them the white, green and blue of Orica Greenedge. The green helmets picking out those that Australian team, and they've got the Aussie Michael Matthews at the moment in absolutely perfect position. 2k to go.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Lotto Soudal. Who are they trying to look after? Because you've got to remember, Rollins has only lost a second. Is the black jersey in there? Can he steal a bonus? 10, 6 and 4 on the line, but it's still Orica Greenedge leading the way from Ethics Quickstep in the blue.
So it looks like it's going to be a match race between Orica Greenedge and Ethics Quickstep, but don't rule out the likes of Peter Sagan and the Tinkoff Saxo team riding shotgun for the world champion. He looks like he's looking after himself well at the moment. Now he picks up Michael Matthews. He's decided to go without the Ethics Quickstep, moves ahead, and Peter Sagan is looking in ominous form. Seems to be able to control his legs and control the pace without too much difficulty at the moment. It's Ethics Quickstep on the front. Albacini ready to take it up for Orica Greenedge. What has Gaviria got? What has Matthews got? What has the world champion Peter Sagan got as they hit the kite?
So 1 kilometre to go, and Albacini at the front. Elo Kaiser's done his job. You can just see Michael Matthews third in line, the world champion, straight on his wheel. Gaviria is sitting just behind his lead-out man. He'll be dragged up very, very soon.
And it looks like Jürgen Rollins is also well to the fore. Where is the yellow jersey? And a couple of gaps starting to appear in the front of the bunch as the Orica Greenedge go for the line. They've got Matthews in perfect position, but being stalked by Peter Sagan as they come through the final couple of turns. They pick up the cameras with 500 metres to go, and Michael Matthews in perfect position, but so too is Peter Sagan. Who's going to fire first? Gaviria is there, and has Jürgen Rollins made a split here? That could be very significant. I think he could well have done. Who is this on the front as the Orica Greenedge into the final 300 metres? Going for the line. Here comes Sagan. He fires first. Matthews is blocked out, and Sagan has the advantage. Gaviria tries to get around the world champion, but surely it's Sagan to the line. Peter Sagan gets his hands up. Nobody's going to stop the world champion. It's a 12th stage victory for him as he holds them off all the way to the line. And well, what an amazing performance, as I think that could well have been another one of the Ethics riders.
Yeah, we just seen the finish here, and you know, it looked as if there was a problem for Gaviria. He just lost the wheel there and caused the gap, and it means that Lampard was then looking behind. He was sitting fourth position, the best place you could be. If that was Gaviria, had a chance of winning, but unfortunately for Ethics Quickstep, they had Lampard there, and that wasn't enough. But it was a great lead out. It was Court Nielsen leading out for Orica Greenedge, Michael Matthews sitting in second place, but it was Peter Sagan that had everything to do here. And just see Peter Sagan going in the left hand side, slightly uphill. Michael Matthews never had it, but Yves Lampard was the rider from Ethics Quickstep. It takes second here, Michael Matthews in third.
Not sure that wasn't Max Ricchesi, but it was a great save by Ethics Quickstep to at least get a rider involved after that problem for Gaviria. But what a fantastic, no doubt about the man that got the win, Peter Sagan. 12 stage wins in the Tour of Switzerland. What an amazing performance. Matthews finds himself blocked out, having to go again. Don't think he had the legs. Just moving so easily through the group all day long. It's just too easy at the moment for a man of the calibre of Peter Sagan. The hills don't affect him like they do some of the other sprinters, and he's a big gulp of air and a great cheer. 2 hands in the air. He wins stage 2 of Tour of Switzerland. There's the slow-mo as Sagan makes his way past the finish line with a victorious salute for another wonderful success at World Tour level for the world champion. No curse of the rainbow jersey here. Great celebrations from all the Tinkoff Saxo riders.
Well, hats off to Orica Green Edge. What a great lead out. Matthews never had the legs in the finish, and just getting confirmation it was Riquesi, the lead out man for Gaviria. I don't know what happened to Gaviria. He seemed to, inside the last kilometre, just sit up and lose the wheel, and that caused the split in the peloton. And from there on, it was only